want to share any thoughts on that?
I believe it's a great movement because it's actually happening and it's in the mass media. So you don't see a lot of that happening, that is actually out there and happening. But another thing I would say, just add on to your point with the leadership, I stated this once speaking, that once you go back in history and you look at it, a lot of our leaders and the head man are usually killed off. So the way I think this kind of revolution of Black Lives Matter and all this kind of fits is you don't have a head. You're not able to see ahead, so therefore you don't know who to come at to actually stop the movement. Is it a little disorganized? I believe so, but I believe it's actually really a great movement together as a whole, and it's actually put out in mass media, but you don't see anyone at the head of what is Black Lives? You don't know it. So it's kind of a mystery, but yet it's something that works because it's here, and you know it's here. So that's kind of my critique.
So again, George Greenidge, Chip Greenidge, Greatest Minds, welcome to Georgia State University. We have a guest today, Jamal Crawford, who's going to actually just share his thoughts on what's going on and just organizing in general. But we just wanted to use the piece about Black Lives Matter and get your opinions on that. What we do at Greatest Minds, we bring many different people, different thoughts, processes, how to do that, and that's the way right here is just to educate this next generation of minds. So I thank you. Come all the way from Boston, and I called you yesterday, and he said I would gladly come down. So really, y'all, thank him on his vacation time.
So, like you said, my name is Jamal Crawford. I want to start off with what y'all was doing. You know what I mean? So, my favorite black leader is Marcus Garvey, right? And because he, to date, had the largest mass movement of black people, with over 1 million people with membership in the organization, with what would be similar to a stock in the organization with a financial basis. Unfortunately, of course, he had some bumps in the road, attacked by the federal government, frames, tax evasion, and so on and so forth. Got sold a bill of goods and got scammed into a boat that was supposed to do the Black Star Line and the Back to Africa movement, and the boat was not up to par because he got conned, right? But Marcus Garvey, I would dare say, is probably our greatest leader of the century. Yeah, in my opinion. Okay, so Black Lives Matter. So first of all, like you said, who are the leaders? Now, it's so beautiful because one of the things that I do, formerly with the New Black Panther Party, I left in 2010. I was there from 2002 to 2010. And my position was National Minister of Information. One of the things that is, if you look at an organization like the National Ministry of Information, if we look at government, would be like the CIA, the FBI, the one to go get the files on everybody, do all the little research, know all the little details. It's a lot of intelligence and counterintelligence, you know what I mean? You got to know who's friend or foe. Jay-Z, state your biz, right? You know, to know what you're dealing with, and that's both individuals and organizations, right? So in any event, Black Lives Matter, first thing it has to be researched. Everybody started talking, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. And I'll be like, yo, what's it mean? I don't know. Have you been to the website? No. So, basics, have y'all been to the website? Black Lives Matter website? Mm-hmm. Okay, so some have, most have. You go there, it's so simple, it's crazy. You go there, you click on the About Us, right? About Us. And you read what it says. Now, I don't know if y'all familiar with the terms revolutionary and reactionary. Y'all familiar with those terms? Okay. So, in my opinion, this is purely a reactionary movement. It's really not even a movement. There is really no movement. It's not an organization. There is a head to it, those three sisters who started it. Alarza, I forget the other sister and the other sister's name. No besmirchment to those sisters. I mean, somebody had to do something, so they did whatever they felt they could do that was in their purview. And it became, you know, a hashtag. And that's about it. The problem is that this newfangled bit of revolution, this is the old stuff, right? So, for instance, you got Tupac shirt on, right? So, everybody loved Tupac, right? You know Mutulu? You ever heard of Mutulu? Perfect, good, I'm glad. Okay, so Mutulu Shakur, that's one of my elders, one of my mentors, and so on and so forth. But see, the world is fascinated with Tupac, but they will discard Mutulu. See what I'm saying? They'll discard the revolutionary for the celebrity. So BLM right now is the celebrity, and we've discarded the revolution. So in BLM's About Us, they will speak to, it's not a friendly place for black men, not black men like me, anyway. So they will speak to the fact of the patriarchy and so on and so forth, which we know is around, sexism and all this type of stuff. Many men are not so nice, right, to our own women. But what happens is, are y'all familiar with Tariq Nasheed, Hidden Colors dude, Dr. Umar and these people? Okay. So what happens is, there are those who say that the number one problem with the black man is the black woman, right? And there are some who say that the number one problem with the black woman is the black man. We can't be each other's enemy. See, that's too easy, and it lets somebody else completely off the hook, okay? So there is another villain in the scenario, right? My man acting, right? You always got a protagonist, right, and an antagonist. You got the hero and you got the villain, right? So in this scenario, in this time of history, and since the beginning of time, that villain has been one person, okay, one group of people. And if you even pin the tail on the donkey, really, it's not even so much the white women. Let's take Becky out of this, right? It's really that aggression of that white male, that white European Caucasian male. It's been written about, they call it the caveman or the Iceman inheritance, where the Western pathology that they have in them is one because they lived in a place of scarcity that they have to take and they have to take. And now what we're doing is we're reacting to that, reactionary. So now a lot of the movements are coming out, but they're not bound by principles. Right. And now they poke out and they make the same mistake of naming the victim as the aggressor. So now somehow the black man has become the villain in the Black Lives Matter scenario, unless you are completely acquiescent to this line that's being put forth. In their About Us as well, they are also very dismissive of what they called a very narrow brand of black nationalism that they put in tune with this patriarchy and this oppressive, repressive type of stuff. And it just ain't so. And you cannot now, see, we stand on the shoulders of giants. So without Mutulu, there is no Tupac. So if you like Tupac, it would behoove you to study up on the tree that fruit fell from. Black Lives Matter era, thusly, so far, has been the dismissal of black nationalism and Pan-Africanism, right? And trying to, what we talk about is recreating the wheel. The structure for the movement has already been built, and it has been successful, okay? Have y'all ever heard of the Republic of New Africa? Any of y'all have taken any classes here with Dr. Akinyele Emotion? No? Yeah, y'all should if you can. Or at least go talk to him. He's a great brother, another one of my mentors, elders. But in any event, so there's a part of this movement, right? The Republic of New Africa said that because based on our work in this country, that we should be given the 5 lower states, right? Basically like reparations. That's our 40 acres in the mule. We should be given the 5 lower states, minus Florida, because we know they ain't giving up Disneyland, right? So all the other 5 lower states, rich in agriculture, we can work the land, build our own infrastructure, so on and so forth. So the Republic of New Africa did that thing. There's a man called Chokwe Lumumba. Y'all ever heard of Chokwe Lumumba? Now, see, he was Tupac's lawyer. All right. So when y'all see the videos or something like when Tupac came out and started spitting, right? And there was an old guy who was like, "Yo, man, chill. That's Watani. That's another one of the elders, right?" So there's a circle here of people that are around the thing, but everybody's fascinated with the celebrity. And without that brand of black nationalism and Pan-Africanism, we wouldn't have what we have today, right? But they are so ready to cut that out. And the Republic of New Africa was started by this same group of people. All black nationalists and Pan-Africanists, people with last names like Shakur, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that, right? Put their things together. Chokwe Lumumba was a brilliant lawyer, later became the mayor, first a counselor in Jackson, Mississippi, which is one of the 5 states. Became the mayor of Jackson, Mississippi, unfortunately died like a year in the office, and now his son of his same name, Chokwe Lumumba Jr., is right now the mayor of Jackson, Mississippi, right? These are the types of powerful moves that we need to be about. And we got to get off of the rhetoric and the hashtags, and we need to start building. building our own finances. Y'all are young, you got a whole future ahead of you. But even now, the habits that you have now are gonna carry you through a lifetime. Stop spending money, stop putting some money away. You know what I mean? Get a business. Y'all got businesses? Get you an EIN number, get you a business. Do something. If y'all live on campus, buy you some socks, bulk. Everybody needs socks, hustle sock, t-shirts, whatever, pencils, pens, paper. It sounds crazy, but I'm not kidding. You know what I mean? Because there's a way that we have to flip this and begin to work amongst ourselves, cooperative economics, right? Collective unity, and work together. Like y'all could take over this whole university. Get something back for your guap. And even if you're here on a scholarship or whatever, they still get guap from you because you bought a soda. You know what I mean? They getting their guap back some kind of way, right? So what I'm saying is make the most of these opportunities. And in doing so, the best thing that you can do is study what has already happened. Because now it's not about discarding what has already happened. It's about improving it. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. Look at the first Africans who created the wheel. Not the caveman like they be showing you in the cartoons, right? But the first Africans who created the wheel, right? They had that model. Now who would have knew all these years later, now you got Goodyears and, 22-inch rims and, you know what I mean? There's advancements, but the basic model remained the same. So advance, innovate, build on, add on. Don't discard and destroy what's already there. But now too, what you're supposed to do is take what was there, take the best parts of it, right? Sift out the bullshit, right? And take the best parts for what you need, and that's what you build on. And y'all got brilliant minds, and I'll end on this, and then hopefully we'll get into a discussion. As y'all went around, I'm just thinking, I'm hearing, just in your voices and your majors and whatnot, and your hometowns, I'm already like peeping a little piece of you, right? And y'all is ill, okay? You got theater major here, political science, right? Business and accounting, right? Who else has something? I forget. Oh, damn it. I think she might have even left. But my point is, this is what one of the things what Malcolm X said. Everybody is hip to the one where the little white girl came up and said, how can I help? And he dissed her, right? Everybody knows that story. Another one that they don't know about is when Malcolm said one of his biggest regrets in our future was for us to basically cull and cultivate from our own pool of talent. Right. I'm about to be 47. Right. Y'all gonna save me. Right. You see what I'm saying? I may not get to the mountaintop with you. You know what I mean? Because believe me, they trying to not, you know what I'm saying, not let me. Right? But y'all are the future, literally. It sounds corny, but it's the truth. And then y'all got little brothers and sisters and cousins and all this type of stuff. When you get out of school and you still got books left, give them to them little kids. Yep. Holler at them little kids. Tell them about some little economics. They ain't too young for trigonometry or economics or what. They ain't too young for it. Break them off. They know trap lyrics. They learn that shit. They can recite that shit back and forth, right? If they in the church, they be learning Bible verses in Sunday school. Give them something else. Stretch the brain, right? And with all these little combination, I don't know if y'all in the cartoons, the Super Friends, right? Everybody got a different ability. So Superman, boom, he can fly. Batman, he's smart. He figures stuff out. Wonder Woman, she got on the Aquaman. He talking to fishes. You know what I'm saying? So the point is, all of y'all got your own skill you add on. So that when that world crisis, that supervillain comes, Super Friends. Right. And y'all can manifest that in your own communities while you live here, even though some of y'all ain't grow up here. You can manifest it now in your own communities. You can manifest it right now on this campus. Not for nothing. Chip just got here. You've been there, what, a year and a half, 2 years? How long you been here?
4 years.
It's been 4 years?
I know.
Oh, damn, I ain't even peep. But okay, so time flew. But since this man got down here, this whole Greatest Minds thing, he did this in Boston. Come down here, not from here, comes to a campus, says, yo, how can I get involved? Let me get in where I fit in. Y'all could start a club. Y'all could do something. You could do an event. You just got the Luda contact, right? I know him since he was Chris Lover on the radio with Pull Daddy. Y'all too young for that, right? Y'all don't know about that. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? I know his manager too, Shaka Zulu. Was Shaka Zulu there? Was Ludacris even there? He was Shaka Zulu there? So, Ludacris's man is Shaka Zulu, with a name like Shaka Zulu. Where he from? His mommy and daddy in the movement too. They know Dr. Akinyele and Watani and Shaka Zulu's Tupac's cousin. See what I'm saying? Close-knit, small family. And all these cats who kicking that righteousness in hip-hop, It's all like that. That's a movement, and it's the continuation of the movement. Not something like Black Lives Matter that seeks to say, you know what, forget all that and rock with this thing here. Sight unseen, not pushing no policy. There was a time when they created the website that was supposed to focus on policing across the states, right? You familiar with that? Campaign Zero or something like that? Mm-hmm. Right. What happened?
Part of the initiative got put in place, but it didn't do anything. Like the body cam thing was one of the things that was pushing. They got put in place in a lot of places, but
that was happening before that, though.
Yeah. So I mean,
but also they received, I think, over $100 million.
Oh,
I have no idea where that is.
Boston got guapped out. Soros, you already know. George Soros, if y'all don't know. And I really leave y'all with this. One is a brain teaser. You have the ability to take any period of time, from now to back, whenever far as you can go back in history. You can go anywhere on the planet, right? And you tell me a time when this person that I'm about to name interacted with anything, a plant, a rock, a mountain, a river, another group of people, and that person, place, thing, inanimate object, or whatever was left better off after that interaction. Those people is white people. Has anybody ever met white people and then been better off or unmolested after the interaction? I've done this to Harvard professors. The answer is no. There's none. That's why when you hear people say like white people's devil, it's kind of messed up. You ain't gonna say the devil like with a red tail and a pitchfork. That's a cartoon. But what you say is it's the true manifestation of evil on this planet, and you will find none who can parallel or beat that man at being wicked. He is the Floyd Mayweather of wickedness. Boom. That's number one. Number two, y'all watch cartoons, all this type of stuff. We've all did since you was a kid, right? You go back. I did that whole caveman in the wheel thing, right? Cartoons. Have you ever seen the Black Caveman? Never. See, they be telling the truth sometimes. Okay. Another thing. And you know, if we were cavemen, they'd be the first one to draw it, right? Ooga booga, right? With the club. They would do that to us. Right? They can't do it. They don't do it. Another.
Take your time, G.
Okay, so there's the caveman. The caveman. I damn just lost my thought. Oh man. Oh. The other thing. Y'all study science, right? And you know the theory of evolution, right? And you see the evolution chart, right? And so it'd be a monkey, right? What's on the other end?
A white man.
A what?
A white man.
A white man. Let's be specific, brother.
A white man.
A white man. Once again, they tell the truth sometimes. We ain't come from caves and monkeys. That's their story. His story. You dig what I'm saying? We got a whole other shaboinking going on. But in any event, okay, cool. So that's the end of me. Y'all got any comments, suggestions?
I'll start with one. What's your take on the Hotep movements that's going
Okay, so
on?
I hate the fact.
Does anyone know Hotep movements?
Mm-hmm.
All right, well,
yes.
It's now used as
Right.
a diss. It's now used as a diss term to describe like a conscious person. When I was
Right.
coming up in the hip hop era, and there was hardcore hip hop, and then there was like De La Soul and Tribe Called Quest. They got branded as being soft, Daisy Age, you know what I mean, Arrested Development, all the type of cats. It was just like weirdo stuff. So that's what they're doing now with the Hotep. So if you like my man right there, you got the necklace on. If you got on a shirt like this, you know what I mean. Cats will try to clown and be like, Hotep, you know what I mean, whatever. The thing that I hate about it is that it being a term of peace and agreement in our culture.
Right.
And now yet again, we've taken something that's good for us. It's one thing when we take a bad word and flip it for a good meaning, like dope, you know what I'm saying, something like that. But when we take a good word and flip it for a bad meaning, that's backwards. You dig? So, and particularly when it's something from our culture. You dig what I'm saying? Like back when we were kids or something, and somebody calling somebody an African was an insult. You know what I mean? And now hopefully we got a different consciousness and we know that that's backward and retarded as hell. You know what I mean? So so that was that. Anybody else? Come on, y'all. You're shy.
Just recently, I've been just researching our past, and I stumbled upon somebody saying that we are African and Native American. I just wanted to hear you speak about that.
Yeah, that's a big falsehood right now, and unfortunately, it's just the damn danger of the interwebs. A lot of information that gets out there gets taken as gospel that has an absolute zero historical credibility. So another one of my elders and mentors is Runoko Rashidi. Y'all ever heard of Runoko Rashidi? Okay. So definitely look him up. He's like a real brother. You hit him on Facebook, you can talk to him. So Brother Runoko, and matter of fact too, that's a great project. Y'all should try to bring him down here. Great project for y'all to start on. Bring Brother Runoko down here. You look him up on video. Are you familiar with Ivan Van Sertima? Okay, anybody? Okay, so Ivan Van Sertima wrote the seminal book called The King Before Columbus, which did the archaeological tracings to show that Africans had visited the Americas long before Columbus ever came here. This evidence, are y'all familiar with the Olmec heads? All right, so there's these big so there's these big prehistoric round heads, clearly African, big wide KRS nose, you know what I'm saying? You could tell that these are African people. You understand what I'm saying? And so these monuments are all throughout Central America and Mexico, all right? And so, and they've been dated, and you can't even tell how old they are. I mean, it's deep. And then two, if you go into Brazil and stuff like that, their god, Quetzalcoatl, was actually an African king who had visited, who had traversed the ocean in papyrus reed boats. Yep. And it came with 10,000 men. It came and landed in Brazil, and the people who inhabited that land said, oh, our god Quetzalcoatl had returned, because their god looked like this brother who was stone black, and everybody had gold tips on their spears. And the recollections of the people that say like it shone like the sun. So, you know, they was like, yo, who are these people? When they bowed down, they thought it was their god returning. So there's a lot of evidence of that. So in terms of, take me back to the original piece.
Native Americans being...
The Native American piece. So Runoko Rashidi and other scholars will deal with that. Now, yes, Africans have traveled here long before, but like my man back home is really heavy on this. The way that they're explaining it on the internet, like, is which came first, the chicken or the egg?
Right.
Africans came first.
Right.
We know that Africans are the ones who populated the planet. So there is no, oh, we was already here. That's just not science. You know what I mean? That's that other spookism stuff.
You said like that we're the Aboriginals, like we are the Native Americans. They just kind of like dismantled that whole history.
Well, we are everybody because life started in Africa.
That's what I'm.
Right, but that's not the way they explain it. Right. That's not the way they explain it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
They're striving to make a differentiation between the two peoples.
Right. But by the time that, you know, the quote unquote interspecies evolution happened,
migration.
Now you're talking about a separate entity. The Native Americans were here, quote unquote Native Americans, looking like, you see, I mean, we got a lot of them, you know, where I'm from, looking like, quote unquote, the traditional thing you see, looking like Native Americans. Eskimos have a distinct look. Right. You know what I mean? You see the traits to continue to go on, you know, the phenotypical traits. And obviously, too, our gene, we got the dominant gene. It's difficult to erase. You know what I mean? So even though I'm light-skinned, I'm still clearly a black man. You know what I mean? I get confused with other stuff all the time, but you know what I mean? I'm a black man. You dig? You think I'm Dominican and you know what I mean?
Papi.
Yeah, all that type of stuff. Sometimes I get action. Anybody else for real?
Any questions?
I just think it's interesting that you said the Olmeca heads are African, because I'm actually taking Hispanic culture and Hispanic linguistics, and so we actually 2 separate classes that I've read on it, and it was just the explanation for the depiction of the head was that they assumed either that's what they look like or they like to do an exaggerated version of themselves. So it was like, so it wasn't, this is from African origin.
Of course.
This was, you know.
There's a conspiracy to suppress that information. No differently than they've done with Egypt and the pyramids. Literally lightening depictions on walls, right? Literally recreating the entire history to de-blacken, un-African the Egyptians and where they are. Now you talk about the Mexican government. Now this is where we get into that interracial, you know, light skin, dark skin thing. The Mexicans do not want to be associated with Africans. Most of the people in Central America do not want to be associated with Africans. And that's unfortunate, and particularly not the people on the ground, right? Not the people, but that government,
Right.
and them elite people, the ones who control the museums and the archaeological, because these are the type of people who, you know, they fancy themselves
as
you
Europeans.
know, white, exactly, Europeans, and you
Right.
get a lot of that in Argentina and Peru, and these, you know what I mean? It's a, you know, shit. We get it in Jamaica, we get it in our own island, shit. We get it in Boston, you know what I mean? All this type of stuff. So there's always those type of elements, but there is a conscious conspiracy globally to suppress the African history of the world. And so I encourage you to read any work by Runoko Rashidi, and specifically that book by Ivan Van Sertima, They Came Before Columbus. Nowadays, too, the beauty of YouTube, too, you can probably get the speech, which is now the Cliff Note version. You know what I mean? Get the speech on YouTube. Runoko got a whole bunch of stuff. Runoko's thing is called the Global African Presence, and he has now traveled the globe and proven the African presence, not just in the Americas, but in Asia and all this. So, for instance, if you go to Japan, the samurais, the first samurai was a black man.
Right.
The samurais worship a black man, and they say that in order to be a true samurai, you have to have a drop of African blood in you. If you go to China, all the oldest Buddhists, black. You know what I'm saying? Pitch black. Okay? So it's like deep. The Pope in the Vatican prays to a black Madonna and baby Jesus. Most throughout Eastern Europe is the same. Czechoslovakia, all this, some of the oldest monasteries and stuff like that is praying to the black Madonna. Because see, they know the truth, and it doesn't matter if they know the truth.
Right.
See, as long as you don't know the truth. You see what I'm saying? That's okay. Because now they can manipulate the truth. You know what I mean? So, keep it coming. Anything else? Talk to me.
I just want to add on to your book list, Destruction of Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams is another one which really goes into in-depth of amalgamation. But to add on, Dr. Von Sertima also has a book about the African presence in what they consider West Asia or China right now, and the developments of their first dynasties were actually of African origin. So just look it up, man. Do the research. And just to add on again, when y'all was talking about who's your favorite leader, my favorite leader is y'all. See what I'm saying? Because you have to have the presence of mind and awareness to put yourself in this situation and choose that path for yourself. See what I'm saying? That's true leadership. Know what I mean? And I'm an old dude, and I love to see this. My daughter goes to this school. She's a sophomore here. You know what I'm saying? And just to be on this campus, to see y'all doing the right thing, that's what's up. Real talk.
We got to make sure she's connected to this office.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to put her on. I'm definitely going to give her the info.
And I'll email you the book list that we've been circulating for years completely. So I'll have a whole, more than you want.
Well, I want to give you guys some gifts from us. Everyone just give a round of applause.
Peace.
Let's go. This is from the Office of Blasphemy and Achievement. We gave you a wonderful book to write down all your wonderful thoughts down.
Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate that.
Also, a Greatest Mind shirt for both of y'all, all right?
Hey.
Extra large for you and a large for you.
No problem, brother. Thank you, sir.
Now we got to take a group photo, though.
Yes.
Yay.